with elections being over, Cooter.
Thank God.
With new professional wrestling companies coming up, we got UFOs going to be discussed in Congress this week. We also have Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson happening this week.
How the do you segue from UFOs to Mike Tyson?
The moons are aligning. The worlds are changing. We're finally getting it because we were supposed to have this in July. Tyson had an illness, was set back for a few months, but this is it, man. We're having this match, and some are gonna say it's gonna be rigged like a pro wrestling thing. It's not fake, but it's not. It's a sanctioned match. It's not a
That's why I'm skeptical of people saying that it's rigged, because if this is gonna be on their like legit records, then again it is boxing. Everything's rigged. But if it's not, I clearly hope to see a 58-year-old man, tar and feather this motherfucker. Because I can't stand this arrogant son of a bitch. I would just love to see, like, it. Because you know what it would remind me of, honestly?
Yeah.
It would remind me of Rock versus Hogan.
Yeah.
Where, like, Hogan was looked at as old, and The Rock is that up-and-coming star, and Hogan, he's like, I remember that call by JR. Even at this moment in his stage in his career, somebody like Hulk Hogan can pull it out just one more time. Can you imagine if he just floors this son of a bitch?
No.
It'd be great. It would be great.
The Yankees lost. A lot of things have gotten us down this past week, but I'm saying a Tyson win would be a chef's kiss to something finally going right.
You're stealing my shit?
It's something, but I mean, I don't know. I grew up in the 80s. I actually, as a little kid, I remember being at the mall, at the Crossgates Mall in Albany, New York.
Oh, my God.
And Mike Tyson walked in front of us for doing something up there that one day. I was a little kid. I remember seeing him. It was like the most random thing ever, seeing Mike Tyson as a little kid in the mall.
That happened to me too. I was in Washington, D.C. with my family. And my mom was working at some conference or whatever, right? And we were in the hotel. I forget what hotel it was. Doesn't matter. We're just eating breakfast at the restaurant. And then you just look over. And the next table over is Mike Tyson. And I'm like, holy shit. And I had just gotten Mike Tyson's punch out. I mean, I was I was
the biggest,
tiny.
the guy
I'm like,
in the
oh
world.
my God. And my dad's like, no, don't. And I kind of just like looked over, and I shit you not, the bodyguard just looked at me and went, it's like, okay, yeah, you got it, bro.
That's great, man. We got so we grew up with this, right? Like Tyson was the boxing hero, or just another legend like Hulk Hogan in the 80s, right? So seeing him have this match, I mean, I've heard a lot of things about the Pauls. His brother is in the WWE, right? Logan Paul. Jake Paul's been doing the boxing. A lot of people say he's been having some like rigged matches. I don't know what's going on. Are they paying these guys off to make him look like he has a good career? Because I mean, people give pro wrestling.
Of course, what happens if he loses? He's not the draw that he was before.
Right.
He's really not.
And it's like, are you really just shelling out all the money that you're making from social media and whatnot to just give to these fighters just to create yourself a name? Is that rigged or no? Is it?
Well, I don't know.
Allegedly,
look at the bums that he's fought. I mean, he beat up Nate Diaz. He beat Anderson Silva. Oh God, I can't.
But that was in a boxing match too, right? So
yeah, these are boxing matches.
So it's not
and I'm trying to think of the other guy that he fought from UFC. He beat Nick Diaz, but he's different weight classes.
Yeah.
And so it's just strange how they're getting this off. But then again, you got to remember he did lose to was it Tommy Fury?
I forget. I don't know.
Oh God, what's the heavyweight champ's name? I know his last name is Fury. Tyson Fury.
Oh, Tyson Fury. Yeah.
Tommy Fury is his younger brother, I think, and he beat Jake. So I mean, maybe this isn't rigged.
Yeah.
He's just very selective of who he fights, and he'll never fight anybody credible because he get the kicked out of him. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he's not a skilled boxer. He's got some skills to him. But do you really sit here and think if he fought somebody credible that he's going to win? Why? Because you beat up Nate Diaz, the little guy who won the dunk contest in the NBA? Like, what the are we doing?
And he's like, what, 20-something, and you're going against 50-something Tyson?
Dude,
so it's
on.
Like, age is a big difference in this. Granted, Tyson still looks like a beast to me, man. I mean, I don't care what age he could kick my ass. He could, I wouldn't want to try starting something with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get on his bad side, even today at 50, whatever, right? So I'm saying, man, I don't know. I don't want Tyson to lose this.
I don't know if I really. Do you want to watch this?
I want to watch it just for this. I want it, and I want to see him knock Jake Paul out. That's the only reason why I want to watch. I don't have to pay for Netflix. I already have the account, so I get to watch it. This is trying to draw in new subscribers or whatever. But
okay.
So I mean, it's free. I don't have to pay for it, so that's a plus.
I'm shutting the up right now.
So
I'm gonna come over to your house and pay you in Shane O'Mac bucks.
It's free, so you had me there, right? I don't have to pay for Netflix. I got Netflix. I just want to see it, and I really want to see Tyson win. I mean, like I said, growing up as a fan. But they do have the fight odds. I think as of Monday, November 11th, BetMGM set the following odds for the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. With a Paul win at -250 as the favorite, and Tyson win at plus 190. So Paul is in the favor to win this, and I'm really not hoping that happens. I hope that people lose money on it. But it's okay. We talked about the parallels of pro wrestling and boxing, right? Like maybe boxing's rigged. Some people, people are saying pro wrestling's rigged.
Boxing's rigged before they thought wrestling was fake.
Right. So it's, so is he kind of like, the Jake Paul, is he kind of like putting all of his stones in one basket, if you will, to make this boxing great again or something, to where I never watched a boxing match to where since the 80s, I feel like, but like for this, I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in because of Tyson, like any other thing. I'm like, whatever, I'm not tuning into it, but like this is bringing me back just because of who's in it. So
I used to watch a lot of boxing when I was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, even not so much today, but I mean, I used to love Ricardo Mayorga.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
I don't.
God, I forget what country he's from, but he was a crazy son of a bitch who would, smoke cigarettes after the match. Like he was basically a Hispanic angry cooter boxer. It was fucking hilarious, dude. Like just an amazing self-promoter.
Yeah.
Always played the heel, didn't give a shit. Had great fights against Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, he very rarely ever won. Yeah. But I mean, he was the guy that you wanted to pay to see get beat up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But even like in the 80s too, I mean, boxing was what UFC I think is today. People wanted to tune into these fights, right? Because that was the only place we could see these kind of fights happen. And then when UFC kind of made its way in and they kind of like incorporated all these martial arts and jujitsu and karate and whatever. So when they created UFC, it kind of like, wow, it's everything in one. I want to watch this over boxing. Like, so I feel like boxing kind of like lost its wheels, if you will, once UFC took off and people watch WWE for the fantasy aspect of it.
I think for me, when it comes to the difference between boxing and UFC, like UFC is just one company. Now, granted, there are other mixed martial arts promotions, but you can't have like a belt from each company. Whereas like boxing, there's like HBO, and there's like 60 million different titles from 60 different. Yep. I can't keep track of all this shit. Let me tell you something. As somebody who hates titles the way I know you do, if you ever really got into boxing, you would on this. Boxing titles would be on the list of Credo. I guarantee you.
Well, because I mean, like even UFC, it has like what, the lightweight, the featherweight, the
we're talking weight.
I don't know, fluffernutters. I don't know what it is.
But there's a difference between weight classes and then having like 5 different belts for the same weight class. Is what I'm getting at. It's just like what the.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we talked about some of the parallels of wrestling and boxing, but a former boxer, I'm butchering the name, it's Carl Froch or Froch or F-R-O-C-H. I don't watch boxing, so I don't know who it is. Okay. Carl Froch. Carl F., who is a former boxer. He believes the result of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson has already been determined. He says, and I quote, "I think it's a scripted fight and will last 3 or 4 rounds. Jake Paul will definitely win. Tyson might start well, but then he'll fall over. Paul can't lose. It's in the contract. He can't lose. He is a useless blank."
I want to know what the blank was.
and he goes on to say, Mike Tyson is an iconic name after what he achieved in the sport when he was physically fit and capable, but not at the age of 58. I don't think Jake can take any credit, but I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll tell everybody until their ears are bleeding that he's beaten Mike Tyson, and that's the one thing I just don't want to happen. Because
you know what's really funny?
I don't want to.
Could you imagine if it is scripted, right? And Mike Tyson just catches a stray and gets pissed off and says, "Somebody kill this motherfucker."
It goes off script.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, go off script. Here's a potato.
What are you gonna do? Sue me? Well, from Rocky, he's like,
sue me for what?
Exactly. That's how the Tyson fight ends, with like Tyson going off script, killing Jake Paul, and then he says, "Sue me for what?" And then we have Rocky 28 with Tyson versus Rocky. So. No, I mean, it's boxing. Like I said, I'm tuning in because of who's in it, and mainly because of Tyson. And I really just want to see Tyson.
I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it live. I can't.
No, you're gonna.
No,
you'll tune in if he really gets knocked out, or if he'll knock him out.
If Mike doesn't die, then I'm gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't. Because it's like you're one of your childhood heroes, and I can't. See some punk bitch like Jake Paul knocking out a 58-year-old man. Like, I don't know.
Because I put Tyson under the category of like a Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar went from the WWE to UFC and back, and people even said that he was just a freak at what he can do and how he could do it. I feel like Tyson's in that kind of like, he's a freak that, he's a killing machine, right? Like he was born for this, right? He's a bred killer. I don't know. I feel like you have a Brock Lesnar and a Tyson kind of in that category. I'm really hoping for a Tyson win, and I can't keep saying that.